Wonder what kind of automatic watch can endure hard use in military tactics or maneuvers. This is the watch. This is an actual watch of a friend of mine that was used all over the world in many different missions or whatever. So this is a friend of mine sent this in. We were going to simply just put a new bezel and insert on it because although I think it's super cool looking, the story on this watch or the wear or patina or whatever, I mean, because he did all of this from day one. This was a new watch that he wore. I think he got it in like 2008. It has a born on date on the back of 2005, but so what is that? That's 2008. I mean, that's a long run of a lot of use. This is the Marathon GSAR. So this has the ETA 2824 in it. I think it's the -A2. I'm not sure if there's any other specific information on it because you do have to have, when you're running these tritium tubes, you have to have the center shaft on there has to be spaced out to accommodate that extra tube, the distance between the hour and minute and all that stuff. So it does take a special movement that is for just these tritium style watches or the marathons for this guy. But this thing has got a lot of wear on it, and all of it was earned. So anyway, after I talked to my friend a little bit more about some other things I checked out on this watch, I'm really confident that it's time for this thing to be sent in for a full service. He's going to check with Marathon and see about getting a full service on it, whether the movement can be serviced or if they just replace it, new dial or at least tubes somehow. They'll probably just put a new dial on it and new handset because the tubes don't even really glow anymore. The only thing I get is the loom pip will glow, and that's because that has like C3 or something on it, and then the tip of the seconds hand has it. But measurements, this guy is, I think, a perfect size for guys with wrist around my size, 7 1/4. I measure 39.23 case width, and you can see the bezel actually sticks out a little bit further. So if you measure from the outside cogs of the bezel, I get 40.9. So, you're talking roughly a 40 millimeter watch. And then the lug tip is only a 47.9 on these drilled lugs. So although the watch looks beefy, it isn't really, the actual numbers of the measurements aren't that beefy. The thickness is a 13.7, which, in case you're wondering, is actually thinner than a double stuff Oreo. The double stuff Oreo measures in at a 14.8. I'm not sure how much deviation there is on those from Oreo to Oreo. And there's a quad stuff in the background. That's for my good buddy Robert. He recommended that I quad stuff one, so there is that. And it has a nice, still after even all that use and everything in abuse, it still has a perfect bezel action. It feels great. It's not too tight, not too loose. It just works fine. So these things are built to last. I like that he paired it on this mesh bracelet. I'm not sure what model this one is, but it has the screwed links. Because if you go to Marathon's site, and I'll put a link to their site in the description, their retail, I think, on this particular model is $1,330. And I know Long Island Watch was selling these. They're out of stock right now. I think his price is under $1,000. So, you're going to be roughly $1,000, give or take. And you're going to have a crazy robust watch. Has a sapphire crystal and screw down crown. It has a really good depth rating. I think it's 300. So very cool watch. I'm going to give you a wrist shot. I can really see the draw to these. I think this This would probably be one of the ones I would definitely consider picking. You know, if you're looking for an automatic one, it feels great on wrist. It's, you know, the size is very familiar if you're used to wearing, like, say, an SKX or something like that. It's you know, it's similar in size. I feel like it wears similar size-wise on wrist. So if that's kind of familiar, but again, I mean, because it is like, it has like flat sides and everything like that, so it looks beefier because it doesn't have all the rounded edges, but it wears great. And I think putting it on this mesh is darn near perfect. You know, this or a nice rubber strap or something like that, I think it'd be fine. I have still, maybe I'll see one with the factory bracelet. I'm not sure how well the bracelets are, but I'm a huge fan of these mesh bracelets. So, I don't know, let me know what you guys think on this guy. Hopefully a full service on it, and this thing will be back in working order really good. So I'm going to play around with it a little bit more to see if I can get it to run a little bit better, but it's running really slow, so maybe it's magnetized. But there's some other things. I mean, it's old too, so I mean, it definitely needs some attention anyway. As far as in the conditions that it's been in. It's been in super cold, it's been in super hot, and everything in between. So, and I'm sure it's been banged around, but with all that taken in consideration, when I threw it on the time grapher, it wasn't as bad as I really anticipated it to be. It's running really slow, but I think if I can get a full wind on it and run it through the demagnetizer, I think it might be just slightly slow. It might be pretty good, but anyway, thanks for watching, guys. And if you're a fan of these marathons, I can definitely see why. And if you're looking to get into a marathon, don't hesitate. I think they're probably one of the best built stainless steel watches out there, especially with the tritium tubes and everything. It's a very cool function. I'd give you a lume shot, but there just really isn't any. And it's hard to pick up on camera anyway, unless you do, I think you do like a black light or UV light, and then you can get them to pop out really good. So maybe I'll do that in the future for you guys. But thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next vid.